Hi everyone, my name is Steph Schmidt. I'm here at Google with Mason Interactive today. They're a boutique agency in New York City. And today we're here to talk about higher education clients, as this is something that Mason Interactive highly specializes in. So this is Brooke Shepard. He's the founder and CEO. Thanks so much for coming in today, Brooke.
Thanks for having us.
So today I want to talk about higher education, and specifically, how are higher ed clients using Google to grow enrollments for their college and universities?
It's great that you asked about enrollments, not apps, because I think a lot of new people would focus on leads and apps, which really, for an online college, aren't important. It's about enrollments. And the fact is that Google is, despite the advent of other people in the media space, Google AdWords is still the best place for a higher education system to get new enrollments. The traffic from Google AdWords converts better than any other platform across all of our clients. It is still the king, and it is still the place you have to be. So that is the first focus.
It's great to hear.
About Google, as opposed to some other platforms, is the ability to go international. So if a client has and does and is now today expanding into Mexico or Great Britain or Canada, Google is the easiest way to do that. It's not quite as simple as hitting a button, but it almost is as simple. And so we use it as the first place if a college is trying to go into another country to expand their marketing reach ahead of any other platform.
Wow, that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing. And in terms of higher ed clients, what specific tactics within Google have you used with other clients that you've seen work really well?
Well, there's a lot of tactics in Google. So what we find is no matter how old an account is, there's always something more to do. I think one of the newest thing that's popped up over the last year or so is geofencing. So a new tactic, and it's kind of dirty but kind of fun, is if you know that your competitor school is going to have a seminar, an admissions seminar at a convention hall in Philadelphia, and you have every reason to compete with them. You have a better product at a better price. Well, we can serve ads to everyone in that convention center and just target the heck out of it during the convention, right? So they went into that show thinking they were going to apply to one college, and they might, but they come out with an increased knowledge of our client's college because we put a geofence around that activity and blasted the heck out of it with ads. So that's something that's happened the last year that's new and a lot of fun to do, actually.
Interesting. Thanks you for sharing that tactic. In terms of other tactics in education, how has mobile changed the landscape for education clients?
Mobile's made it harder for everyone because I still think, especially for an accredited psychology school, for example, or a graduate school where you're going to drop 6 figures on a degree, I still think you're going to do that on your desktop, right?
Yes.
That's not an idle decision to do that. But that doesn't mean that we don't have to find a way to deal with it because, of course, all consumers are on mobile more than ever now. So the way we've dealt with that with colleges is to convince them to take phone calls and click to call as an inquiry. There's some tracking issues there, right? Not everyone, people have legacy systems, and not everyone wants to take a phone call as a lead because they're used to seeing a lead being a form in a database, right?
Okay.
But if we can get them to understand, and we counsel them to understand that a phone call is good, they're going to do better. So one fun fact about that is we took it to prove this case for one client. We didn't even do click-to-call. We used another phone tracking system. And we tracked phone calls from mobile ads only. And what we found is that 100% of phone calls lasting of inbound phone calls from potential students, 100% of inbound phone calls lasting more than 20 minutes turned into an enrolled student.
Wow.
So we proved to them that 100% of phone calls lasting more than 20 minutes enrolled, and we got them to adopt click-to-call, and their enrollments went up.
So you mentioned a little bit about targeting a specific audience for higher education.
Right.
And so how do you use Google's targeting to do that?
Well, the interest targeting is great, and the ability to look at the demographics of the people that are clicking on your ads and to then tweak your message in kind is super important. So if we find that more women than men, for example, and this is a huge generality, but if more women than men are applying to one of our clients' colleges, we're going to tweak our messages, our ad message to show that. If we find that they tend to skew younger rather than older, and that might be different than what the client expects, right? The client might know that 70% of their enrollees are between the ages of 25 and 30. But the data might be showing that the leads that are coming in are 20 to 25, younger. It's great targeting data to have to bring back to the client and say, we're going to tweak your message, and we're going to tweak the programs you offer next semester, because this data has shown these programs are better for these users.
That's great. And do you find all that data within Google Analytics or Google AdWords, or do you use both
platforms? You have to use both platforms, and that's one of the other reasons that AdWords works so well for schools, because forget the fact that it's the best converting traffic, everyone still uses Google Analytics as the gold standard. They may have their own packages on top of that, right? Yep. Especially if you're a fashion brand or some other e-commerce people. But everyone's using Google Analytics. So you have to look at the two of them together, not just to look at a lead, but to look at an enrollment down the line.
So the year of mobile was 2015, when mobile searches surpassed desktop searches. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how the mobile change in the advertising landscape has affected higher education clients.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's forced them to up their game, because for a long time as mobile was coming in, it was 0% and 5% and 10% of their traffic. They could afford to just ignore it. Well, we're getting enough leads from desktop. Why do we have to worry about that? But in the last 12 months or so, that's no longer the case. They have to deal with it. And that means they need mobile optimized landing pages. It means, we talked about click to call earlier, they need to take phone calls as an inquiry source, and working on the landing pages to make them convert in mobile. And that's a struggle, right? Because if you're selling a degree, you might be used to having 300 words of text to describe your degree, and you just can't do that on a mobile landing page. It's not going to work.
Yep.
So that's been a big change. And the people that are navigating that correctly are the ones that are seeing higher enrollments. And the people that are choosing to stick their heads in the sand and not do that are the ones that are having a problem right now.
Yes, completely agree. And in terms of how Mason Interactive can help some of these higher ed clients in terms of optimizing their website, I know that we've partnered together at Google to work on some of the site optimization.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about what your agency does to help them there?
Sure. So when someone hires us, my view is that they're hiring us to do everything we can to make them more money, right?
Correct.
So without talking about pricing and how we charge people, we generally have a fee that covers everything. And so we are going to make for our clients landing pages, and they are going to be mobile optimized, and they are going to talk to their database, whether that's Salesforce or some education-specific program. We are going to make mobile optimized pages for our clients, because if we don't, the clients are not going to enroll people, and we're going to lose them as a client. We have to do it. So every client gets mobile optimized pages.
So as I previously mentioned, Mason Interactive specializes in higher education clients. So if you're a higher ed client, how would you expect this shift from one agency to now Mason Interactive to go?
Yeah, it sometimes happens, unfortunately, that people change agencies. So the first thing is there's no fall off. I hear this a lot. People are scared of a fall off in performance when they switch agencies. Your agency knows what they're doing. There should be no fall off. The second thing is if you're dealing with us, right? Because we're so over-indexed in education and higher ed, we know what a good media mix is. We know what we have dozens of these clients in-house and hundreds of them over the years, so we know what percentage of their budget should be in search versus display versus social, and I'm not sure everyone knows that, so we bring that to the table. The other thing is you have to have weekly meetings, and we demand this from our clients. It's actually written in our contracts. They have to show up for weekly meetings. And I want people from other departments to come in, right? Yep. So if there's a TV buying arm, I want to talk to them. I want to know when they're going to start buying ads. If there's someone's buying ads in a bus, and I don't know why you would do that in this day and age, but if someone's buying ads in a bus, I want to know about that too.
Okay.
So no fall off. There may be a realigning of media spend because we know what the industry does better than any one client does.
Yep.
And we're going to demand to have cross-departmental meetings to make sure the ship's going, everyone's rowing the ship in the right direction.
That's great to hear. And again, I can vouch for that as I've been to their agency, and you have a very, very collaborative team. So I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming in today. It was great to hear about the higher ed clients, and I'm hoping to see you soon.
I hope so.